Didn't mention the Canadian Grand Prix is good. It just delivered. Is that the best race of the season? I mean, that race had absolutely everything. If you say Formula 1's boring and you watch that race, it's not the sport for you, I'm afraid. It was absolutely fantastic from start to finish. We had everything. A wet race, a dry race, wet, dry, 2 safety cars, incident, overtake, challenging for the lead. We didn't know who was going to finish in any position of the top 3. We had one driver just take sort of 1 to 5, didn't he? George Russell was all over the place, led from the start. Let's get straight to it. Wet start, George Russell led the way and it was a perfect start for him, wasn't he? He did a very good job, held off Max Verstappen, and Max got in a bit of trouble, didn't he? And then Lando Norris on an absolute charge pulled off a brilliant pass on Max Verstappen. A lap later took over and led from George Russell, and he was absolutely away with it, wasn't he? He was about 15-16 seconds ahead by the time, unfortunate, a safety car came out. Lap 21, Logan Sargent dropped it. Is that the end of his career? It definitely well should be, and Williams are clearly touting Carlos Sainz, so you know it does look like the writing's on the wall for Sargent there, but yeah, it's probably well deserved. And it was crucial, wasn't it? McLaren made a mistake, didn't pit Lando Norris early. Verstappen did, so did the boys behind him, George and Piastri. Hamilton pitted a lap earlier and didn't really probably work for him. He lost a little bit too much time on the outlet by the time he got his tyres up to scratch. But then, yeah, Max Verstappen got in the lead. Now Lando Norris dropped from 1st to 3rd, and then Russell and Norris had a fantastic scrap all the way through. Norris picked up the P2 in the end. Russell then dropped down to 4th, recovered back to 3rd with the pass on Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton had a cracking race, didn't he? From starting 7th, he was right in the hunt at one point. He was by far the fastest man on track. He pulled off the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. Just couldn't pass George Russell again. Yeah, we just had everything. Max Verstappen, probably his hardest race win. He is the winner of the race. A brilliant job from him. You just got to say, when he got in the lead, he just did enough, didn't he, in certain moments just to bridge that gap, get out of the DRS zones. And then, yeah, you got to say he was comfortable in the end, wasn't he? But I think that's more because the battle was behind then, wasn't it? It was Russell, Norris, and they two cost each other time to sort of really put the pressure on Verstappen. Piastri had a good race and then struggled, didn't he? Dropped back down in the end. Probably disappointing because he was looking in good shape, and then again is still struggling to keep on his tyres. And then we got the big one, lap 54, another safety car. This time, I thought it was due to Perez, didn't he? He had a massive crash, another bad race weekend for him, and fresh off a new contract. I mean, look at my thoughts on him in Paddock Talk that I've recorded before Canada, and it wasn't looking good for him at all, was it? And then actually it was Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. Sainz with just a horrible spin. It was a horrible race for Ferrari overall, and that summed it up. So unlucky for Alex Albon. Kind of had nowhere to go. Tried to go around the long way around to avoid Sainz, and just Sainz rolled into him. Not really Sainz's fault, unavoidable. He was lost control of his car anyway, and Alex Albon just so unlucky, had nowhere to go, and he was in a really good points position, and I just feel so gutted for him, to be honest, because it looked like a very, very strong race. And yeah, let's get to the 3 good and the 3 bad, and the first of the 3 good, Max Verstappen. That Red Bull just wasn't good around this circuit, and for him to go on and pull off the win is absolutely fantastic. A brilliant race. I think he felt probably surprised when he turned out in P1, wasn't he? Effectively gifted that by McLaren staying out 1 lap later and getting the strategy call wrong there. And he, from there on, managed it like a true champion. Comfortable in the end by a couple of seconds, but really, really had to make... You know, he made mistakes early on. He was struggling. He was down to 3rd, and then Russell made a mistake again back into 2nd, and that was probably crucial for Verstappen to pass Russell easily. The second safety car, or the safety car, really at lap 25 really helped out Max Verstappen, didn't it, at that point? And from there on, he just looked comfortable. But a true champion's drive to win from where a race weekend he went into not expecting to win, absolutely didn't. And the way it started in the first half of the first three quarters, first third of the race, didn't look like it was going his way, but he pulled it off in the end. A fantastic job. And the second of the three good is Ocon. Now that's a surprise, isn't it? He was starting on P18, a fantastic race to finish. He was P9, he got team orders, and you heard him over the team radio saying, "I'm not going to give that place to Pierre Gasly." Eventually he let him past. I think he would have been in big trouble had he not yielded that one. Smart move from him in the end, just to keep face, and he's looking for a drive elsewhere, and he needs to show he's a team player and listen to team orders. Got told to let Gasly pass so Gasly can try and pass Ricciardo. That didn't happen either, but what a recovery, what a drive to be way down, and actually he probably well and truly deserved to beat Gasly, his teammate, this weekend. A brilliant job. And the third of that, Daniel Ricciardo, a P8, a very good race in the end. He was all over the place, didn't it? It looked like he was going to drop out, no point, 13th, 14th, 12th, 11th, and then again in the end just managed to get into some points, hassling his teammate. He was behind Yuki actually. Yuki had a fantastic race up until that point. Big mistake from him, I'll get onto him in a minute, but good points for Daniel Ricciardo. A good weekend, a good qualifying, and a good race in the end. And I've got to give a shout out, I don't know what to put with Lando Norris here, because it was a fantastic race from him. He deserves to be in the three good for me, but I just feel so disappointed because it looked like a race that should have been his. They had all the time in the world. As soon as you knew the safety car was out, I'm not sure why they didn't pit for the fresh stinters. He could have been first in, comfortably out ahead of the rest. And yeah, it would have been his race from there on. Really just can't get my head around McLaren's thoughts on that. Norris was flying on that early start. The pace was just, it was like an absolute rocket ship. He was 3-4 seconds ahead of and faster than Max Verstappen at that point of the race. He was just absolutely tremendous. The safety car just came at the absolute worst time for him, because if it didn't, he would have just absolutely run away from it. There would have been a comfortable race win. But it's Canada and all these things happen, and it can happen any time. It worked in his favour, like you said, in Miami. Didn't here this weekend, but yeah, just so disappointed. It's almost, it was put him in the three bad because of that. It's not his call, it's absolutely the team's call on that, so he doesn't really deserve that. But yeah, so bittersweet for him. On to the three bad, and we've got to start with the two Ferraris. Double DNF here. They came into this race weekend being touted as the guys that are, the favourites to win it, and they just went horribly all weekend, didn't it? 11th and 12th in qualifying. Charles Leclerc reporting engine issues, and he was down on power and really struggling from lap 5. He pitted, had a 20-second pit stop, and I think they did a big hard reset, and it looked like he was good to go again. And then 10 laps later he retired. Carlos Sainz took himself out effectively, big spin. He was in the points, took out Albon as well, so a really horrible weekend from them. They were 25 points behind the Red Bulls in the constructors, and they're now 25 points, 50 points now, double that behind in the constructors. And it's just this sort of build up for the championship has just been wiped out in a race weekend, hasn't it? And it really shouldn't have this weekend. They've kind of got it wrong, and they'll be disappointed with that. Second of the three bad, Sergio Perez, fresh off a new contract. I'm not sure why he's been given it, because he's doing the same trajectory as we saw last time out, isn't it? After Miami, he just had a stinker of a season, and it's carried on the same veins, hasn't it? DNF in Monaco, DNF in Canada, all his fault this weekend. Poor in qualifying, poor in the race, big crash. It's just, yeah, still can't get why they've given him a contract so early. And the third of that, I'm going to go for Yuki Tsunoda, which is a surprise because he was in P8 on for a fantastic race, a really good weekend, but a big mistake when he was comfortable in points. Yeah, just so disappointing, and he was last in the end, way down. I mean, he's equally, I think, with that, I could easily given it to Logan Sargent because he was as shocking. I think the writing's on the wall for him now, isn't it? Another mistake, DNF out of the race, and Williams now sort of touting for Sainz in openly in the media now, aren't they? So it looks like they've told Logan Sargent that your seat is gone. It's roll on King Sainz, isn't it? Will he take up that offer? Interesting, a lot going on at Williams, and yeah, it could be a really good move for him there. But overall, this race was absolutely brilliant. It just had everything, action all the way through, overtakes, teammate battles, you name it. Fight for the first, second, third. I mean, even Lewis Hamilton looked like he was on a podium right at the end, got beaten by Russell, so he'd be disappointed with that. But yeah, absolutely brilliant weekend racing. This is what we get at Canada. Next time out, we head to Spain, so watch out for that. There'll be my driver's rating video coming up shortly, and the previews to Spain. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. See you next time.